Welcome to the Empowered Embodiment Revolution, where women leaders reveal how to liberate yourself from body battles so you can follow your heart, own your power, and shine in the world. I'm Darlene Downing, and I am your host for the event, and I am absolutely thrilled to be here with you today. I have with me the sensually savvy and uplifting Meloney Hudson. So I had the amazing fortune to meet Meloney. She's through a mutual soul sister and colleague of mine, and I so love how she is empowering women to wake up their sensuality, their aliveness, and their creative capacities through the body. And I am delighted to be sharing her with you here today. Do you want to say hi, Meloney? Say hi.
Hi, everyone. I am so grateful to be here. Thank you so much, Darlene. What a blessing to be a part of this wonderful summit that you have created. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And I'm going to give everybody your official bio so they can dive more into your energy and what you're up to creating in the world. Great. So Meloney Hudson is an advocate of women's empowerment who believes that self-love is the first step to a more joyful life and better world. She is the author of Sexy, Spirited, and Strong, Becoming a Positive Energy Woman, and its companion workbook, and is creator of the Yoni Yoga and Aphrodite's Secrets programs for women. She's a certified teacher of Uppsala Tantra Kriya Yoga and has studied Tantra and Taoist energy practices for nearly 20 years. She also studied and practices the principles of spiritual science and integrates its philosophies into her work. For more than 10 years, Meloney has been leading workshops that encompass the energy arts of the East and West to bolster self-esteem and enhance personal energy for the betterment of the individual and the entire planet. Meloney joins us here today to share her love and passion in empowering women as we dive more deeply into the topic of Yoni power, pelvic practices to improve your life and help the planet. So welcome, Meloney. I am just so thrilled that you're here.
Thank you, Darlene. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, so you want to dive right into what we're speaking of with this summit, which resonates with all of these women and so much resonates with me that we hope to share, what your definition is of empowered embodiment.
For me, empowered embodiment means love and appreciation for the unique aspects of ourselves and loving our bodies more deeply than it just being a body, but loving it for being the container of our spirit and our energy, because that's who we really are. And by understanding that we are more than just this little physical vehicle that gets us around the planet, that we are unique, we are powerful, we are deeply beautiful, we each come with a set of gifts and skills that are just waiting to be expressed on the planet. That is the way to love ourselves. And so the loving of the body and the loving of what is inside of our bodies, loving who we are as spirit beings, as energy beings, and physical beings, that is what I think embodied empowerment is all about.
I love that definition, and I totally resonate with it too, that we're more than the body, and the body is an integral part of us experiencing life here on the planet. Thank you for sharing that. Beautiful. So would you be willing to share what your body story, your journey to your body and getting to this place of your definition of empowered embodiment, any struggles that you had and what it was that shifted that for you?
Sure. Well, I've always appreciated my physical body. Even as a young woman, I I loved to be active. I danced. I hiked. I loved my physical being, and I took good care of it. I've always been very health conscious. But I didn't have high self-esteem, and there were periods in my life where I absolutely loathed who I was, and I did some low-level self-abuse. I would hit myself. I called myself terrible names, and I allowed myself to be in some relationships that were not very healthy for me. And it wasn't until I discovered the Tantric practices through a workshop that I took back in the mid-90s that opened up my world. And it helped me to see that I am much more than just this physical body. And it helped me to understand, first of all, that I am an energy being. We are all energy beings, and that's where our magnificence really is. It's all, our energy really, it defines who we are as people, and it helps us to live as a vital being on the planet. The other thing about Tantra that was very important is that I discovered a path that honors both feminine and masculine energy. And prior to that, I was probably like a lot of women. I had gone to church, and I was a Christian, and I loved that. I would go to church all the time, and I still have such great honor for that path. However, I did find that there was not really that much recognition for feminine energy in the Christian path. And I did find that in the Tantric path, women are revered, and not only just revered, they are considered the vehicle towards enlightenment, because our energy is different, and it's connected to spirit, possibly on some level higher than the masculine energy, and that's what the traditional texts and beliefs are. And so I learned about ancient goddesses. I learned about the power of sexual energy, not just as a tool to become sexual and to be sexy, but as a healing energy that we can use through our entire body to purify our chakras and our energy centers, so that we can become more attuned to universal spirit, and that we can become a clear channel to allow spirit to enter us, so that we can live more fully in our bodies, so we can be more conscious of life in general, become more conscious of the people that we interact with, and live in a state of joy and bliss, that's the ultimate goal of Tantra, is to live in this blissful state of happiness. And bliss is defined as being fully present in the moment, not dwelling on the past, not worrying about the future, but just being happy with who you are in that exact moment, no matter what the situation. So that was the very beginning of the journey that triggered a lot of additional research. I did a lot more study of ancient women's history. I started to study Taoist practices, which are also energy, which include energy practices to harness that sexual energy that dwells in our pelvic region. And that has caused my self-esteem to, of course, improve, because I no longer look at myself as just this, what I called, a dumb girl or stupid, or I'm this or I'm that, into I am an emanation of this amazing universal love. And so I became a goddess, and that's what I have integrated as my work, is to help people find that within themselves, that divine aspect of themselves.
Wow. So much of what you shared, I'm just like, yes, yes, yes. The bliss, the focus on bliss is so appealing, and who doesn't want more of that, right? And when you had the distinction of the goddess energy that is within you, how that transformed how you felt about yourself and how you were showing up in the world, which is so cool,
It changed. It changed me completely, and I'm so grateful. And it's easy stuff, which we will talk about, I'm sure, in our conversation.
Oh yes, we're going to get to that, and we're going to let you guide us through so that we can tap into that. And the other distinctions that you made, that sensual is not about being sexy and looking, the paradigm that's out there for a lot of people, that I need to look sexy so that I can get validation and approval, or that's my source of power from external, but it's an energy that brings you into the present moment, that brings you fully alive. Some people think sensual is, and they get lost with what is out there, but it's so much deeper than that.
So much deeper, so much deeper. It's, our sexual energy is there on a biological primal level to help us mate and procreate, but it really is so much more. It is there's so much about it. It's not only the area of our vital life force energy that keeps us completely alive and animated in this body, but I personally think that, our yoni is a lot of who we are. Actually, I should say our second chakra. We haven't gotten to the yoni part yet, but yoni is a Sanskrit for womb. And it's so much a part of who we are. Our history resides in here. It does have it does drive us a little bit. But it's also this energy, the life force energy, that will help to heal our bodies, keep our body healthy. It helps our body to become more radiant, so that we become radiant, beautiful creatures. And not only that, but for me personally, I believe that when women get more in touch with their sexual energy, it will empower them, and it will also help to balance this energy that's on the planet right now. Right now it's prevalently masculine. I love men. I love that the men want to protect us. There seems to be a very big imbalance right now on the planet, and with a lot of war, a lot of struggle, a lot of aggression. I think feminine energy, once we love ourselves and boost our own feminine and sexual energy, use it for healing, using it to empower ourselves, it will not only go out into the world, it'll radiate into the quantum field to help up-level the feminine energy of the field around our planet, but also on some level, it'll shift the paradigm, and men will start to, I hope and believe, that men will begin to yield a little bit more to the feminine input and opinions, which I think is happening now. But I think the more women can become empowered with themselves and harness their own sexual energy for this purpose, it will benefit the entire planet.
Oh, I am right with you on that one. And, since we have access to both masculine and feminine energies, what's beautiful about what you're offering all of us to do, to tap into that feminine energy through the womb, because we're women, we have an easier access to bring that forth, and we've been playing in this masculine paradigm for such a long time that we've shut down our feminine energy a lot. I'm speaking very general. I know I have. I'll speak personally for myself, that I've been learning how to be more receptive and how to bring forth my creative capacities and stay more in my heart. And all of those, I feel, are feminine qualities that men do have access to also. However, since it's easier for us, like when we're able to do it personally and restore that balance, then we can be the invitation for the men to join us in there.
That's absolutely true. And you touched on a very good point about the way that women are these days. And the ultimate goal really is for all of us to honor our feminine and masculine aspects. That's very good, a good point that you touched on. I honor the masculine aspect in myself, and I know you do too. There's value in the masculine aspects, which are, we need to think linearly every now and then. We need to bring up our rational size every now and then. We need to penetrate every now and then, because if we don't embrace our masculine side, it will be very difficult for us to survive in the world. You know, the masculine energy is, it serves us. It really does. And you're right. The women, especially since the women's liberation, which I am so grateful for, we've had the opportunity to create new lives. We're no longer dependent on men to take care of us, or to be the sole provider. We can create our own lives. We can have careers. We can be moms and have careers. And so that masculine energy really does help us. And I also feel like that masculine energy is going to help us to bring up our feminine energy as well, because it is funny. Many women have lost touch with their feminine, and now it's going to take a little bit of discipline, which is very masculine, to come back into our feminine. And so it's interesting how that all works out. But,
that was definitely my experience. I was very much in the masculine realm and over control to the point of driving myself to distraction and it being debilitating. So I had to drop into that feminine and explore my ability to receive. And now I'm having to pull back out those masculine qualities so that this summit is, there's a lot of linear details and things that need to happen, that I need that masculine taking action and being focused and disciplined. So yeah, it is this dance of both of them.
It is a dance, and it's so beautiful. We can call up our masculine energy when we need it, and we can be in our ultimate feminine when it's appropriate. It's the beautiful thing about being a human being, of these two different energies, and men can do the same thing, which is really beautiful as well.
Yeah, we can be the invitation.
Well, that's exactly right.
Yeah, I would love to shift our conversation to go even more deeper into the wisdom that you have on our Yoni power, and specifically how pelvic practices can improve our lives and help the planet. I know you touched on that, and I love that it's so expansive on how doing this is not only just wonderful for ourselves, but how it benefits everyone. So I'd love for you to just take the conversation wherever you want to go.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, I'll give just a little introduction about what Yoni Yoga is and the things that it touches upon, and then we can just take it from there.
Great.
So Yoni Yoga is a practice that encompasses Tantric techniques, Taoist techniques, and then just some general movement techniques that helps to stimulate three aspects of our pelvic region. And the first, of course, is the physical, and the physical aspect of our yoni and our pelvis. The thing that we all think about all the time. It's the fact that when we think of our vagina, we think about our periods, we think about the baby that we birthed through it, we think about the place where we put a penis when we have sex, and we think about it as sexual pleasure. Other than that, we don't really think about our yoni at all. So Yoni Yoga helps to educate women to understand what exactly our yoni and pelvic region is made of. And it's made of course, the vagina and the uterus, the fallopian tubes, and the ovaries. This is our nice little reproductive package. And Yoni Yoga focuses a lot on the vagina, just because that's the one area of our reproductive area where we actually have control of the muscles. We can use it as a pump to pump energy through the body. And it's also the place that can, first of all, if it is healthy and toned, the whole body will be healthy and toned. And it's also the place where if you can gain control of your muscles, you have a nice toned vagina, you can have healthier sex and you can have more pleasure in your sexuality. Also, per Taoist belief, when you have a nice toned, tight yoni, vagina, you'll be able to contain your sexual energy, which is really good. It's vital life force energy that you want to keep in the body. When you have a flaccid vagina, the energy tends to just spill out all day long. And when you're losing your sexual energy or losing your life force energy, you tend to lose energy from the entire body. So besides, I'm sorry,
I just like, wow. That is
okay, yes,
cool.
yeah, just all these interesting little tidbits. Then the other part of the focus of Yoni Yoga on the physical level is the pelvic floor, which is very important. It's all part of our physical fitness of our pelvic region. It's a network of muscles that surrounds the opening of the vagina and the exterior of the vagina, the perineum, which is the intersection of all of our very, very delicate and sensitive muscles and nerves. It's located right between the vagina and the anus. That's a hugely powerful part of the pelvic floor. Then all the muscles that surround the anus and all that whole network of muscles holds in our reproductive organs. And then beyond that is, of course, our wonderful hips and our bones and our muscles and ligaments. So that's a big part of Yoni Yoga, is becoming familiar with all of these fantastic parts of our physical body. The second part is the fact, and we talked about it briefly, is that our energy resides here. This is our second chakra energy, which is the governor of our sexuality, of our creativity, and our emotions. So when this is a healthy, when this energy is vibrant and balanced, we become just more effective. Our emotions are in balance. Our creative expression can come through a little more easily. And then, of course, our sexuality can either be jazzed up, or if you have too much sexual energy, it can be brought into balance. That's the thing. You know, sometimes we think about women who, that we think that women don't have enough sexual energy. And that's true for a lot of women. There are also a lot of women who have an excess of sexual energy, and they end up being driven by that energy, oftentimes to a point where it might influence them to do things that they regret or are unsure of why they did it in the first place. So these practices all just bring it all into balance. Also, creative life force energy that revitalizes the entire body, all of the cells in the body. It dwells here in the pelvis. So the exercises that we do in Yoni Yoga activate this energy so that we can bring health and goodness to the entire body.
Love it. How does it get any better than that, right?
Well, and then the third aspect is the spirit aspect, which I also really, really love, and I think is so important. And we touched on this earlier too. This is where our feminine spirit really exists. It's really who we are, and it's kind of our signature of our femininity. And as I mentioned earlier too, it's the place where our history is stored. This is our yoni. Especially when you get to my age, where I've had a few experiences with my yoni. When I think about who she is and what she has done for me and what I have done for her, it's like it's amazing, and it's like a different person. But when I honor her. It's an honoring. It's a mutual honoring, and so the spiritual aspect is loving and honoring your yoni. Honoring her for what she has done for you, honoring her for no matter what has gone on for her, and then honoring her for helping you become who you are today through those actions in your yoni, and for also what's hopeful and potential in the future by what your next actions will be. So that's what Yoni Yoga encompasses. It's pretty powerful.
I'll say it's powerful. It's rich with opportunity to really expand our experiences of being in bodies and being a woman in a body. And wow, you're just flooding me with all this awareness that I didn't have access to before. So it's so amazing, you know, and I'm wondering if, as you discovered this practice and you said that it really shifted your self-esteem,
Yes.
was this just a regular practice that you did? You just felt called to really dive into it, and yeah, kind of take me back to when that happened and how it led you to follow your heart, to really stand in your power, you know, to really shine.
Bring it into the world. Well, that's a very good question. You know, and it's funny too how we probably each of us teachers have the same kind of a thing. It was a defining moment, and we're not sure quite exactly what exactly that moment was. I can remember the time, but it shifted everything for me. And that was truly when I started with the Tantra work. A lot of these exercises that I teach are based on Tantric Kriya Yoga practices. Now, Kriya Yoga is just their practices that help you charge up your energy in all of the chakras of your body, and then utilize it through breath work and movement and visualization to just take it to different parts of the body to heal, and so that, again, we can, you know, become clear bodies. We get our ego out of the way, we get our traumas out of the way, and we just become the beautiful beings that we are. So it was at the beginning stages of my tantric practices when I started doing the Vajroli mudra, which is this mudra where it's a practice where you visualize your sexual energy, and then you inhale, and as you inhale, you bring that sexual energy up your spine and to your eye, your third eye. You hold your breath, and then you squeeze and release your Yoni 10 times, and then you exhale, and you're doing this type of exercise for, you know, several minutes to a half hour, and if you do it in certain practices, it's up to 2 hours of different types of exercises to charge up that sexual energy and balance it. And I just felt like I was onto something. And very soon after I started these practices, of course I progressed. I did with Ipsalu Tantra. I very quickly went through level 1, level 2, level 3 of their workshops and of their intensives. And some of them are very intense because, again, this is a process that helps you to clear off energy blockages that were formed by, you know, traumas and I didn't have a lot of trauma in my life, which just goes to show you how delicate our bodies are. It's so affected by anything that happens in our lives. So I didn't even have a lot of trauma, and I still had to work through a lot of energy blockages. So once I went through those 3 huge intensives over a period of about a year, I just started feeling called to share this. And so I just started teaching little workshops. And I began the Aphrodite Secrets workshop, which was using all of these practices to help women feel beautiful. And at first, I have to admit, Aphrodite Secrets was very much about harnessing that sexual energy and the spiritual energy to become a goddess, so that you can become a goddess for a partner. And it was later that I said, you know, and that was very empowering unto itself. But then I was like, you know, women need to be powerful and into themselves. They need to love themselves first. And that's when I started to develop I started writing my Sexy, Spirited, and Strong book, Becoming a Positive Energy Woman, because I realized these things need to happen. Women need to love themselves deeply first before they can really become the most incredible goddess beloved for another. And so that's how it all started. And may I also add that for me, one of the other most empowering and most important aspects of my growth is the study that I did on ancient women's history and the ancient cultures that revered women. and that believed that the great creator was feminine, not masculine. And the many religions that, you know, Egyptian, Greek, Minoan, everything, African, it all started with the reverence for great goddess and for women and for the Yoni as this mysterious, amazing creator of life. And so reading these works on ancient women's history also had a huge influence. I still study it. I have a little bit, I have a course that I created on goddess history that I feel is important for women to know about. And that's also integrated in my work.
Beautiful. It is so, so cool. And it's something that many of us aren't aware of. I've dipped into it a little bit. I'm sure you have way more knowledge on it than I do, which is why I love having these conversations, because I get to learn and to continue to grow. So you know what would just be so cool for all of our listeners that are here today, like what could they do today? What's something simple that they could do to activate this area in their life to play with the Yoni and the energize that so that we can feel more alive and more vibrant and tap into our sexual power?
There are so many exercises, and I thought about that this morning. One that I just feel is very easy to do, and a person can just do it right this instant, is to just dance and make it a very hip-focused dance. Make it very slow and moving.
There. Yeah, let's do it.
Yes, you know, putting your hips, making big circles with your hips. Let me see if I can stand up, and I don't know if you can
stand up with you.
But just you know, just moving and putting your hips into big giant circles. And bringing your focus all into this whole yoni area, and in fact touch this area as you move, and just bring all of your attention to your yoni area and feel that energy start to just activate. And as you move, especially when you thrust your hips forward, squeeze your yoni muscle if you can bring that kind of attention to your yoni. So squeeze as you bring forward and then release as you go back. And then you can do things like thrusting, and this is always very good for squeezing and releasing. Squeeze.
To tap into that sensation of the yoni. Where is that in the pelvis?
It is right here. It's actually in the vaginal area, so it starts at the opening of your vagina, and then it's probably about up to here.
Okay.
So when you're squeezing, you can bring your attention. Actually, it's easy to just squeeze the outside of your vagina. It's almost as if you're stopping the flow of urine.
Okay.
So you would squeeze, stop the flow of urine sensation, and then release so that it's relaxed. So squeeze and release. And then if you can just bring a focus to the whole vagina, and then just see if you could squeeze it. You might need to engage, you'll definitely engage the muscles inside.
Right.
And you might even need to squeeze a little bit of your, like the muscles that surround the colon, because you're introducing those PC muscles to help squeeze the vagina as well. So it's squeeze and release. It's contract and release.
And don't hold your breath while you're doing it either, right?
No, you don't need to at all. It's all very easy. And in fact, if you want to squeeze and go ooh, and release, ooh, ooh, because that activates the second chakra. That sound, ooh. So as you go ooh, as you're squeezing and dancing and ooh. Ooh.
Do this in the privacy of your own home if you feel uncomfortable doing that.
Ooh.
As you and I are doing it on the World Wide Web, right?
I love it. I love it. So that gets you activated. And then after you have done that type of dance for a few minutes, then you just stand still and you inhale that energy so you can feel it go through the entire body. Inhaling and then holding your breath and then exhaling and letting it all go back down through your body. So inhaling and imagining that energy coming up from your pelvic region and infusing all of the cells of your body. And then bringing it back down as you relax your entire body. And then inhaling one last time. Bringing all that energy up, feeling it, feeling all your cells, just enjoying that nice flow of sexual energy. And then exhaling as you release it through the rest of your body. So that's an easy exercise that you can do right away. It's fun to do it with music.
Yeah.
And I always have an abundance of rhythmic music to dance to. And so that's a super easy one that'll get you going. If you do that before you go on a date, you'll have a glow. And in fact, the great thing about these Yoni yoga practices is that you'll have such a glow. People will check you out at the store, women and men. They're just like, wow, who's that glowing woman over there?
Well, I would feel that it makes you much more magnetic too. You've opened yourself to that energy, and you would be more magnetic for other people. That glow would draw and attract others to you. And I just say, my body's feeling really good, and my yoni is appreciating a little bit of pelvic movement and the thrusting. I also practice Nia, which we bring in pelvic movements, which is very unusual. A lot of workouts don't activate the pelvis. A lot of movement forms don't. And the sounding. I love bringing the sound to it too. That deepens the experience even more.
It does. It does. There are certain mantras, that's the seed sound of mantra, that activate that chakra, the second chakra energy. So it will activate and bring it into balance. So that if it's too out there and you've got too much sexual energy, saying ooh, ooh, will help to balance it out. So yes. So, and if you'll ever notice that when you are making love with your partner, a lot of times we naturally just, when we have sex, ooh, ooh. So it's, a lot of this stuff is innate.
That could be another conversation. I agree, though. It enhances the experience for sure.
Yes.
That is so great. Thank you for sharing that. And that's so simple to do. It doesn't need to take a lot of time, or you could take more time with it. If you feel like you're really shut down in that area, you could make a commitment to just carve out 15 minutes of putting on some music that encourages that pelvic movement and playing with it in the privacy of your own home if it feels uncomfortable to be doing it out in public.
That is so true. That is so true. It's a little sacred thing that you can do for yourself. And the other thing that's important about this type of hip movement is that not only does it help to generate that sexual energy, in general, keeping your hips fluid and limber is so important for women and men. Once you start getting locked in, and we are all sitting way too much these days. We're all sitting in offices and cubicles, and we're not standing enough, we're not moving enough, and we tend to get, our muscles are atrophying and locking down, and it's very important to keep the ligaments and the muscles and the bones all flexible and loose. That will keep us younger. the younger our hips, the younger we will be.
So
So this is all about staying young too.
right, because it's just a number. You see people who chronologically aren't that old, so quote unquote, yet they appear to be much older than they are. And then people who have a bigger number that are just so alive and vibrant. Yeah, let's play with whatever keeps us juiced, so that we can enjoy these bodies and let our spirits play at the same time. It's great.
Absolutely, and I love the word juiced. That is a beautiful word because that's what it is. It keeps our juice, our electricity keeps us juicy as women.
Yes. And juicy is
So
a lot more fun and attractive than stiff and brittle, for sure.
yeah, yes, that's right. That is right.
Well, yeah, I think it's so cool that you were able to show that too. I'm so glad that we're doing this video summit so that, I mean, just watching you do it activated something within me too. Like my body was like, oh yeah, like tapping into that. So thank you for sharing this information. Thank you for sharing this practice and for bringing this awareness to the conversation. It's so beneficial, and I totally see how when we're engaging all of us in these areas that could be shut down, how we're just able to be who we truly are and benefit our lives and benefit everybody around us. It's just great.
It's a self-appreciation exercise for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love before when you mentioned that when you first started your work that it was initially to enhance the experience you'd have with a partner, which is great. It is great. And when you took it to that place of us really appreciating ourselves first, really allowing ourselves to experience self-love and taking that time for ourselves, which then spills into all of our relationships. So.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's just loving ourselves, I feel, is the ticket for the and this goes to men too, loving themselves as well. It's the ticket to saving the planet, where we're honoring each other, for their beautiful aspects, and for them honoring us for our unique and beautiful aspects as well. So by honoring ourselves and becoming conscious beings through these practices, we can see the beauty in each person. There's more compassion. There's more openness to understand. There becomes more of an open dialogue between people instead of ego headbutting. So it's all part of the holistic aspect of this practice.
It's awesome. It's so, so cool. And I know that you have extended your generosity, and for everyone who's listening, you have contributed a free gift that you wanted to give to everyone, which I so, so appreciate. And I encourage anyone who's watching, if your body's saying, "Oh yes, we want to be doing more of this," there is a link below the video. Please click on that and soak in more of Meloney's wisdom in this. But I'm going to turn it over to you and let you share with everybody the free gift that you have.
Sure. Well, I am offering a Yoni Yoga practice guide. It's an introductory guide to help you learn a lot of the basic exercises to address each of those three aspects of your Yoni: the spiritual, the energetic, and then the physical aspects. So it's just a variety of exercises and meditation, Yoni work, that type of thing, so that you can get all of these aspects activated. And the great thing about Yoni Yoga is you don't have to do it for an hour. You can if you want. You can go through the little guidebook and sit there and dedicate an hour to your day to doing all the exercises, because it is very powerful and you will have an amazing shift. Or you can just do each little individual exercise at any point in time. It's only a 5-minute exercise or a 10-minute exercise. it is all so good. It's all about just bringing consciousness into this area of our body to expand ourselves. So that the Yoni Yoga Guide is free for you, whoever would like it.
Thank you so much for offering that. And I know I'm going to get on there.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, I am so with you that this area is neglected in the body, and starting with the physical and how it spills into the energetic and the spiritual side of how we're being in the world. I'm definitely going to take advantage of your wisdom and play with it some more. So thank you so much for offering it. And I also know that we talked before, for anyone that would like to be in person with you, you have something that's coming up the first of the year, right? So we want to share about that?
Sure, yes. The date is not yet scheduled, but I'm going to have a Yoni Yoga half-day retreat where we'll go very deeply. We'll learn a lot of the Yoni practices that are Tantric and Taoist. We'll go deeply. There will also be a guest speaker who will share her information about hormone balancing, which is a very big concern for women these days. And she comes at it from a more health perspective. So this is an all-encompassing Yoni Yoga event, spiritual, physical, energetic, and health. So that's coming up in January. My website will have a date posted very soon.
And so your website is?
It's positiveenergywoman.com. It's all one word, no breaks or no hyphens. Positiveenergywoman.com.
Beautiful. And you're located in LA, right?
Yes. Okay. Los Angeles.
Woo! I love it.
Woo-hoo, I love it here.
Wow, what a fantastic conversation. I have had so much fun learning from you, and to actually be able to get up and move felt great too. That was so fun. I so appreciate you, Meloney. I appreciate your service in the world. I appreciate you offering this invitation to women to choose, and for being here to have this conversation. And I will say that the glow is within you. If that is what has been created from this practice, wow, it speaks 1,000 words. So just to see your glow, if anybody wants to glow like you do.
Well, thank you. I am so grateful to you for inviting me to this wonderful summit and for talking to you. I just feel such sisterhood with you as well, and you inspire me, you excite me, and I'm so grateful for your gratitude for the Yoni work. So thank you.
Oh, yes.
Blessing.
Thank you. And to all of our listeners, thank you so much for being here today, for taking this time for you, for soaking in this wisdom, and for choosing to follow your heart, own your power, and shine in the world. We'll have more interviews to come, more empowered embodiment tools. And until then, bye for now. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.